So those two, any others that you would suggest, or would those be the
So
two that you would start off with?
That's usually what we just start off with if people are like maybe looking to try one product or two. But then going down the line, we get into vitamin D. Should bring that up because that's our sunshine nutrient. We are beings of the sun. We are designed to be around the sun. And there's so much fear around the sun of causing damage to the skin. And the research is really interesting because if you try to actually correlate sun exposure with melanomas and skin cancers, there's actually no correlation. The only correlation is finding that there's the increase in sunscreen use is actually increasing cancer rates. So this is really interesting. This Australian study did this because they have so much sun exposure there, and they're researching and they're finding that a lot of these chemicals that we use to screen us from the sun actually get baked into the skin and get baked into those cells, and it causes those cells to grow abnormally because there's such a toxic load. The cells can't replicate, the DNA gets blocked, and cells can't replicate properly, creating abnormal cell growth. When of course we can burn from the sun. I have to put it out there. Of course you can damage your skin from the sun. But having a grounded approach and like knowing when you're getting a little bit burnt or a little bit red, getting into the shade, that type of thing. But how this is interacting with our system is we have this cholesterol layer on the top layer of our skin, this oily layer. And when it gets exposed to the UV radiation, it actually turns into this D3, this calciferol molecule. And this is essential. This is actually a hormone. It's an androgenic hormone, just as important as testosterone or progesterone. And over time, over about a 24-hour period, it gets absorbed back into the bloodstream, goes to the liver, and the liver does its job to store the vitamin D and then distribute it to the immune system and the bone cells and everything, do all of its jobs. A lot of problems with getting sun exposure, after we usually are in the sun, we get sweaty, we use soap, wash that layer off of our skin, so we don't even absorb the vitamin D that we get in small amounts from the sun. So that's one big thing there. Another reason why we're deficient is you'd think Southern California, hey, we're good, I get a little bit of sun every now and then. No, we're measuring chronically low magnesium or vitamin D levels with people.
And like you said, a lot of people don't realize it's actually a hormone, a necessary hormone.
It is huge. It makes your immune system work properly. Your immune system can't communicate unless D is there. It's the big connection, of course, was with rickets. People's bones were bending if they didn't have the right amount of fat-soluble vitamin D. Fat-soluble nutrients are what drive the minerals and carry the minerals into the bone tissue to mineralize our bone and our teeth, our dentin. Very vital. And we can go on and on about breast health and all sorts of other things they've been finding with vitamin D that's crucial. So that's why it's now on a blood panel. It's so important. So we're recommending levels up to around a 70 nanograms per milliliter, and usually it takes quite a bit of supplementation to get yourself to that level. It's an exponential increase to get from a 20 to a 30 versus a 50 to a 70. It takes a lot more to get to higher numbers. But 50 to 70, that's kind of a good number. Anything, doctors usually not tell you anything unless you're under a 20. So 20, 30, no, you still need it higher than that. Magnesium is also very essential for the uptake of vitamin D too. So that should be noted. That's why we're always minerals first, because if you're mineral deficient, you're usually vitamin D deficient. It's given, even if you take vitamin D. So
that's a good place to start.